Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today's story is about one such fascinating piece of American coinage, the United States of America 1977 D Mint Mark half dollar. This video script is crafted to keep viewers engaged from start to finish, drawing them into the world of numismatics while uncovering the mystery, value, and collector appeal of this iconic coin, the legacy of the Kennedy half dollar. The Kennedy half dollar is more than just currency. It was first introduced in the 1960s as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. From the moment it entered circulation, the coin carried emotional weight and national pride. By the time 1977 arrived, the Kennedy half dollar had already become a familiar symbol of remembrance and resilience. Although many Americans no longer used half dollars in daily transactions, the coin continued to be produced, quietly building its own legacy among collectors and historians. The importance of the 1977 D Mint Mark. In 1977, Kennedy half dollars were struck at different mints, and one of the most important identifiers on these coins is the mint mark. The D Mint mark signifies that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. This small letter may appear insignificant at first glance, but to collectors, it can mean the difference between an ordinary coin and a highly desirable one. The Denver Mint was known for its efficiency and large-scale production, making the 1977 D half dollar an interesting example of mass-produced yet historically meaningful coinage, design and visual appeal. One of the reasons collectors are drawn to the 1977 D half dollar is its timeless design. On the obverse side, you see the bold left-facing portrait of President Kennedy. His expression is calm and dignified, symbolizing leadership and hope. The inscriptions surrounding his image reinforce the coin's identity as a piece of American heritage. The reverse side features the presidential seal, complete with the eagle, shield, and stars. This detailed design reflects strength, unity, and national pride. Even decades after its release, the visual appeal of this coin remains powerful and instantly recognizable. Composition and feel in hand. The 1977 D half dollar is composed primarily of copper and nickel, giving it a solid feel and a distinctive shine when well preserved. While it does not contain silver like earlier Kennedy half dollars, its composition still adds to its durability and long-term survival. When held in hand, the coin has a reassuring weight and smooth edges that remind collectors of the craftsmanship involved in its creation. Many enthusiasts appreciate the way the coin feels, as it represents a transition period in American coinage history, circulation history and public use. By the late 1970s, half dollars were no longer widely used in everyday transactions. Many people set them aside, saved them in drawers, or added them to personal collections. As a result, numerous 1977 D half dollars remained in relatively good condition compared to other circulating coins. This unique circulation pattern contributes to their availability today, while also increasing interest in higher-grade examples that have been preserved with care. Collector interest and market demand. Collector interest in the 1977 D half dollar has steadily grown over the years. While it may not be rare in the traditional sense, its historical context, connection to the Kennedy legacy, and distinctive mint mark make it appealing to both beginner and experienced collectors. Many numismatists enjoy assembling complete sets of Kennedy half dollars, and the 1977 D coin plays an essential role in completing those collections. Demand often increases for coins that exhibit exceptional condition, strong strikes, and original luster. Condition and preservation. As with any collectible coin, condition plays a major role in determining worth. Coins that have been carefully stored, protected from scratches, and preserved in mint or near-mint condition tend to attract more attention. The 1977 D half dollar is no exception. Collectors closely examine surface details, edge integrity, and overall eye appeal. Even small differences in preservation can significantly influence how desirable a coin becomes within the numismatic community. The story behind the coin. Every coin tells a story, and the 1977 D half dollar is no different. It reflects a period in American history marked by recovery, change, and optimism after a turbulent era. The United States was redefining itself culturally and economically, and this coin quietly circulated as part of that journey. Owning or discussing this coin is like holding a snapshot of that moment in time, frozen in metal yet alive with historical significance. why collectors continue to care. Collectors are not drawn solely by rarity or metal content. Often, it is the narrative behind a coin that makes it special. The 1977 half-dollar connects collectors to the legacy of President Kennedy, the craftsmanship of the Denver Mint, and the evolving story of American currency. It serves as a reminder that even modern-era coins can hold deep meaning and lasting appeal. Video is dedicated to one such fascinating piece of American coinage, the United States of America 1978 Mint Mark half-dollar coins. These coins may look ordinary at first glance, but once you understand their background, mint varieties, condition, and collector demand, you will see why they continue to attract attention and curiosity even decades later. Stay with me until the end, because we will uncover the true worth and value that collectors associate with these classic half-dollars. Setting the historical background. To truly appreciate the 1978 half-dollar, we need to travel back to the late 1970s. This was a period of change in the United States, socially, economically, and culturally. Inflation was a concern, daily life was shifting, and the nation was redefining its identity after a turbulent decade. Coinage during this era reflected practicality rather than precious metals, yet it still carried deep symbolic meaning. The half-dollar denomination itself was already becoming less common in everyday transactions, but it remained an important part of American coin history. The half-dollar continued to feature the iconic portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a design that had been introduced earlier and quickly became one of the most beloved images in modern American coinage. By 1978, this design had become familiar, but familiarity did not reduce its significance. Instead, it made the coin instantly recognizable and emotionally resonant for many Americans. Understanding the Kennedy half-dollar design. The obverse of the 1978 half-dollar proudly displays the profile of John F. Kennedy. His calm yet determined expression symbolizes leadership, hope, and a lasting legacy. The design captures a sense of dignity that resonates even today. Surrounding the portrait are inscriptions that affirm liberty and the national motto, reinforcing the values that the coin represents. On the reverse side, the coin showcases the presidential coat of arms. This powerful emblem includes the eagle, shield, and stars, all carefully arranged to represent strength, unity, and the authority of the nation. Every detail of the reverse design adds depth to the story of the coin, reminding us that even everyday currency can be a work of art with meaning far beyond its face value. Mint marks and their importance. One of the most important aspects of the 1978 half-dollar is the mint mark. Mint marks indicate where a coin was produced, and they play a major role in determining collectability and value. During this year, half-dollars were struck at different United States mints, each contributing its own characteristics to the coins it produced. Collectors pay close attention to mint marks because they can influence rarity, strike quality, and overall desirability. Some mint locations produced higher quantities, while others struck fewer coins or achieved sharper details. Even subtle differences can make one mint mark more appealing than another, especially when collectors seek to complete full sets. The role of condition and grading condition is everything when it comes to coin value. A 1978 half dollar that has circulated heavily will show wear on the high points of the design, dull surfaces, and possible marks or scratches. While such coins still hold historical interest, their monetary worth is usually lower. On the other hand, coins that have been carefully preserved can look almost as fresh as the day they were minted. These pieces often display strong luster, crisp details, and minimal imperfections. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on standardized criteria, assigning grades that help collectors understand the quality and authenticity of a coin. Higher grades generally translate into greater desirability and higher value. Collector demand and market interest. Another key factor in understanding the worth of 1978 half-dollar coins is collector demand. Coin collecting is driven by passion, nostalgia, and the desire to own a tangible piece of history. Many collectors focus on Kennedy half-dollars because of their iconic design and historical connection. Demand can fluctuate over time, influenced by trends in the collecting community, economic conditions, and public interest in American history. When more collectors seek high-quality examples of a particular coin, prices can rise accordingly. The 1978 mint mark half-dollars continue to enjoy steady interest because they represent an era that is close enough to feel familiar yet distant enough to feel historic. Why these coins still matter today. Even though half-dollars are no longer commonly used in everyday transactions, they hold a special place in American culture. The 1978 issues serve as a reminder of a transitional period in United States coinage, when precious metals were no longer standard but craftsmanship and symbolism remained important. For many collectors, owning one of these coins is about more than money. It is about preserving history, honoring a beloved president, and appreciating the artistry of American minting. Each coin tells a story, from the moment it was struck to the hands it passed through over the years. Hidden value and long-term perspective. When discussing the value of 1978 mint mark half-dollar coins, it is important to think long-term. Coins are often seen as a store of value, especially when they are well preserved and part of a complete collection. While they may not seem extraordinary at first glance, their worth can become more apparent as time passes and fewer pristine examples remain available. Collectors who understand the nuances of mint marks, condition, and demand are better equipped to recognize hidden value. This is why education plays such a crucial role in coin collecting. The more you know, the more confident you can be in evaluating and appreciating coins like the 1978 half-dollar. Final thoughts and conclusion. As we come to the end of this deep dive into the United States of America 1978 mint mark half-dollar coins, it becomes clear that these pieces are far more than simple currency. They are symbols of history, craftsmanship, and national identity. Their value is shaped by a combination of design, mint origin, condition, and collector interest, all working together to create lasting appeal. Video takes you deep into the fascinating world of the United States of America 1979 mint mark half-dollar coins. These coins may look ordinary at first glance, but behind their smooth edges and bold designs lies a journey of worth, rarity, and collector passion that continues to grow year after year. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand why this half-dollar still captures attention and why its value story matters more than ever. the era that shaped the coin. The late 1970s were a turning point in American history. Economically, culturally, and politically, the nation was shifting gears. Inflation, changing metal prices, and evolving public trust in coinage pushed the United States Mint to rethink how coins were produced and used. The half-dollar, once a common sight in everyday transactions, had already begun to fade from daily circulation. Yet in 1979, the Mint continued striking these coins, not just for spending, but for collectors and long-term preservation. This moment in time makes the 1979 half-dollar a snapshot of an America in transition. Understanding the half-dollar legacy. The half-dollar has always held a special place in American coinage. Larger than most circulating coins, it was designed to feel significant in the hand. By the time 1979 arrived, the half-dollar featured the enduring image of President John F. Kennedy, a design that first appeared in the mid-1960s. This portrait was more than decoration. It was a tribute, a memorial, and a symbol of a nation remembering one of its most influential leaders. Every 1979 half-dollar carries that emotional weight forward, blending history with metal, mint marks and their meaning. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1979 half-dollar is the presence of different mint marks. Mint marks tell us where a coin was made, and each location adds a layer of identity to the piece. These small letters may seem insignificant, but to collectors, they are crucial. They can influence rarity, desirability, and long-term interest. Coins from different mints can show subtle variations in strike quality, surface texture, and overall appearance. These differences are part of what makes collecting so engaging, turning a simple coin into a subject of study and admiration. Design details that capture attention. Take a closer look at the 1979 half-dollar, and you will notice the sharpness of Kennedy's profile, the confident gaze, and the fine details of his hair and facial features. The reverse side proudly displays the presidential seal, complete with the eagle, shield, and stars. This design speaks of authority, unity, and national strength. Even decades after it was minted, the coin maintains a visual impact that appeals to both new collectors and seasoned numismatists. The craftsmanship reflects the mint's dedication to quality during a challenging economic period. Materials and composition. By 1979, the composition of the half-dollar had changed from earlier silver versions. While older half-dollars contained precious metal, later issues relied on a different metal blend. This shift marked a significant change in how Americans viewed coins. Value was no longer tied primarily to metal content but to condition, collectability, and historical relevance. For the 1979 mint mark half-dollar, this makes preservation and quality especially important. Coins that survived with minimal wear tell a story of careful handling and intentional saving. Circulation versus collectible appeal. Although these coins were technically made for circulation, many never saw heavy use. The half-dollar was already becoming uncommon in everyday commerce, which meant fewer people handled them regularly. As a result, many 1979 half-dollars remained in relatively strong condition. This unusual balance between circulation intent and collectible outcome adds to their appeal. Collectors today often search for examples that show crisp details, clean surfaces, and strong visual presence. Condition and its role in worth. When discussing the worth of any coin, condition plays a vital role. For 1979 mint mark half-dollar coins, condition can elevate interest significantly. Coins with minimal marks, bright surfaces, and well-defined details tend to attract more attention. Even small differences in wear can change how a collector perceives a piece. This focus on condition transforms the hobby into a careful art, where observation and patience are rewarded. Why collectors still care? You might wonder why a half-dollar from 1979 still matters today. The answer lies in its balance of accessibility and historical importance. It is old enough to represent a past era, yet modern enough to feel familiar. It connects collectors to the late 20th century, a time of transformation in American coinage. For many enthusiasts, owning such a coin is about preserving a piece of that moment, a tangible link to history that can be held and examined. The emotional value beyond money. Coins are not just about numbers or market trends. They carry emotional value as well. For some collectors, the 1979 half-dollar might remind them of childhood, a first coin collection, or a gift from a family member. For others, it represents the thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of completing a set, or the joy of learning something new. This emotional connection often drives interest just as much as financial considerations. Long-term perspective. Looking at the 1979 mint mark half-dollar from a long-term perspective reveals why it continues to be discussed and studied. As time passes, fewer well-preserved examples remain. Collectors become more selective, and appreciation for quality grows. While it may not be the rarest coin ever produced, its steady presence in the collector world ensures ongoing interest. This consistency makes it a reliable subject for collectors who value stability and historical depth. Story is about the United States of America 1988 P mint mark half-dollar coin, a coin that carries the spirit of its era, the dignity of its design, and a value that collectors continue to discuss with curiosity and excitement. This video is not just about a coin. It is about time, craftsmanship, and the hidden stories that live inside metal. Setting the historical mood. The year 1988 sits at a fascinating point in American history. The Cold War was nearing its end, technology was evolving, and the nation was preparing for major social and economic changes. Coins minted during this time were everyday objects, passing through countless hands, pockets, and cash registers. Yet some of them escaped heavy use, preserving their original surfaces and details. The half-dollar from this year reflects that era perfectly, combining tradition with the quiet modernity of late 20th century America. Introduction to the half-dollar legacy. The half-dollar denomination has always had a special place in United States coinage. Larger than most circulating coins, it was designed to feel important and substantial. For decades, it symbolized commerce, celebration, and even respect. By 1988, half-dollars were no longer used as frequently in daily transactions, which adds to their intrigue today. Many were saved, forgotten in drawers, or tucked away by collectors who sensed their future appeal. The significance of the P mint mark. The P mint mark represents the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic mints in the nation. Philadelphia is where the story of American coinage began, and coins struck there often carry a sense of authenticity and tradition. In 1988, the presence of the P mint mark signified precision, consistency, and adherence to strict minting standards. For collectors, this mint mark is more than a letter. It is a badge of origin and trust, design that speaks without words. On the obverse of the coin, the portrait of John F. Kennedy stands strong and dignified. His image has been part of the half-dollar design since the early 1960s, chosen as a tribute to his legacy. The design captures calm confidence, with fine details in the hair, facial features, and overall expression. Even decades later, the design remains emotionally powerful, reminding viewers of leadership, hope, and national memory. The reverse side story. Turning the coin over reveals the presidential coat of arms. The eagle spreads its wings proudly, clutching symbols of strength and peace. Every line and curve has meaning, reflecting the balance of power and responsibility. The reverse design complements the obverse perfectly, creating a sense of unity and purpose. For collectors, sharp details on this side are a key indicator of quality and preservation. Metal composition and feel. The 1988 P half-dollar is composed of a copper and nickel-clad structure. While it does not contain precious metal, its weight and feel give it a solid presence. When held, it feels reassuring, substantial, and purposeful. This tactile experience plays a big role in why collectors enjoy this coin. It is not just about what you see, but also about what you feel. Minting quality and craftsmanship. Coins from this period were produced with advanced minting technology compared to earlier decades. The Philadelphia Mint focused on consistency, clean strikes, and durable finishes. Many examples from this year display strong detail, especially when they were preserved shortly after minting. A well-struck 1988 P half-dollar can still look remarkably fresh, even after many years. Circulation versus preservation. One of the most interesting aspects of this coin is how many were never heavily circulated. By the late 1980s, half-dollars were already becoming less common in everyday use. This meant fewer scratches, less wear, and more opportunities for collectors to find high-quality examples. Coins that avoided circulation often retain their original luster, making them especially appealing. Collector interest and growing attention. In recent years, collectors have shown renewed interest in modern-era coinage. People are realizing that value is not only about age or precious metal content. It is also about condition, history, and demand. The 1988 p half-dollar fits perfectly into this trend. It represents a modern collectible with historical context, making it attractive to both new and experienced collectors. Grading and its importance. When discussing worth, condition is everything. Coins are carefully examined for surface marks, luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. Even small differences can significantly affect desirability. A pristine example of this half-dollar can stand out dramatically when compared to a worn one. Collectors often seek coins that look as close as possible to the day they were minted. The emotional value of collecting. Beyond technical details, there is an emotional side to collecting. Holding a coin from 1988 may remind someone of their childhood, a significant life event, or a loved one who collected coins. These emotional connections add depth to the hobby and make each piece feel personal. The half-dollar, with its size and design, often becomes a favorite in any collection. Why this coin stands out. What makes the 1988 p half-dollar special is not rarity alone, but balance. It balances history with modernity, availability with desirability, and simplicity with meaning. It is accessible enough for beginners yet interesting enough for seasoned collectors. This balance is what keeps attention focused on it year after year. Market curiosity and discussion. Collectors and enthusiasts frequently discuss this coin, sharing images, stories, and opinions. Online communities and video platforms have given new life to modern coin discussions. As more people learn about grading, preservation, and historical context, appreciation for coins like this continues to grow. The 1988 p half-dollar has become part of that conversation. A quiet investment perspective. While not everyone collects for investment, many enjoy knowing that their collection holds measurable worth. Coins like this half-dollar demonstrate that modern issues can still achieve respectable valuations under the right conditions. It serves as a reminder that patience, care, and knowledge can transform an everyday object into something truly meaningful.